back, Margaritas in Paradise. We're doing another segment of Everybody Has a Story. And I'm fortunate enough to have a very good friend of mine, Johannes, with us today. He's from Austria. And welcome, Johannes.
Thank you.
Why don't you start out by telling us a little bit about yourself, maybe a little bit of background.
Okay, I'm Your Highness, as you said, yeah, and I realized that the name has a bit of a beauty in the English language, yeah, because if you write it, it is like Johannesburg, yeah, but if you say Johannes, it is the wrong explanation. I'm Austrian, and there are no kangaroos there, because if somebody asks you in Thailand, yeah, where are you from Austria, they all say, oh, kangaroos, yeah, so. We have T-shirts, no kangaroos in Austria. It's Europe. There are a few in the zoo. I have been living in Thailand for 11 years now. Before that, I was quite international in my career with an international American company, living in places like England, Russia, and in Dubai for 10 years. I studied business, started my career at Procter & Gamble, and then joined Johnson & Johnson. That's where I worked. My objective in life was always to retire at the age of 55. I didn't achieve that because I overachieved it and retired at 51, which was an advantage to retire out of Dubai, the country where you don't pay any tax. Because if you leave a company after 25 years, they give you some money, and if you have to tax it, normally the government takes away 50%. If you do that out of Dubai, the government takes 0%. So wow. That gave me the opportunity to move into the place of my choice. Sure. And the place of my choice is right here, where we are sitting.
Yeah. Place of your choice is right here. How did you pick this spot, Pattaya in general, or Thailand?
I mean, same as my family, we all suffer from a very bad virus. Yeah, it's probably it's genetic, I don't know, or maybe it's contagious. Probably the second one, and it's the Thailand virus. I got it when I first came here in 1991. I went to Phuket for a 3 weeks holiday, and I came back and knew that is the place I want to be, Thailand. Yeah,
I understand that.
Same applies to my family. My mother, she is Thai addicted. My brother and his wife. Right. My sister is Thailand addicted, and many of my friends, meanwhile, too. Yeah. Sure. So why Pattaya and not the beauty of like Phuket or Koh Samui? I totally agree that those places are much more beautiful, yeah? Sure. But if you think back of your country, you have some places and spots which are touristic and beautiful.
Phenomenal.
Do I want to live in the most touristic, beautiful place at a lake in Austria? And the answer is no. I need for my life something which goes beyond a beach and palm trees and some huts. I need for my life a city, which gives you a little bit of choice of more than 1,000 restaurants, a little bit of an more anonymous life. And living here is great. If I went for a beach holiday for 2 weeks, would I choose Pattaya? And the answer is no.
Do you miss Austria? Do you have much of a chance to travel back there? Or?
I just come back from Austria, and I've been there. Do I miss it? Of course, you miss your home country, mainly because of the people. My family is there, despite that I all have them in Thailand as of October, November. They are meanwhile so addicted that virtually all of my family, my mother, my brother, my sister, and my best friend spend their time here with me in winter time. It's a bit more quiet now during summer. Do I miss Austria? Of course, you always miss something out of your home. Would I like to change Austria against Thailand? And the answer is definitely no. 3 to 4 weeks in Austria is just great in summer and in winter, especially for skiing, because I'm an addicted skier, and that's all of the winter I want to know. I remember back living in Austria and living through a 6-month winter, which was an absolute nightmare for me.
Right,
yeah?
right.
For 20 years, I didn't have a winter. And just the thought that I had it before for 6 months of having to take a jacket and a cap and gloves and everything, yeah, and having this cold thing in your face, I don't know how I could survive, yeah, and I couldn't.
I understand that. So living here in Pattaya, have you met any hurdles that's been hard to cross living here?
Probably the biggest hurdle is language in Thailand, because I couldn't say that the Thais are the leading group of linguists of this world. Yeah, they speak Thai and maybe a little bit of Cambodian and Laotic, but more than that, even if they learned English at school for 8 years, and I had some cases, a girl who was proud to learn English for 8 years and happy to meet a foreigner.
Right.
When I asked her, how are you? She told me her name 3 times in a row. I said, I know you're Im, yeah, but how are you? Im. So they understand nothing, yeah?
Right.
And that makes it sometimes a little bit difficult. So I would say that is one thing. The other thing I found a bit of a hurdle is if you're here to find the partner of your life amongst Thais, it's difficult, yeah? Right. It's difficult to understand the culture, their way of living. They are very different. And
do you think it's important to learn Thai while you're living here?
Awesome. I mean, the better you speak it in any country you're living, the more you get out of it. Right. If you speak some, it will definitely help you surviving, because to get into the real beauties of street food and other things, it is very difficult if you speak nothing. To speak it fluently would be an advantage, which I don't do. Yeah, and
we both have basic knowledge.
We have basic knowledge, and I would love to know it better. Yeah, and I don't know why I have been so lazy of not learning it properly.
How many languages do you know?
Quite some. Yeah. And like, probably the big difference was when I learned Russian like that quickly. Yeah. Right. And the reason was that I got married to a Russian girl who only spoke Russian. Yeah. And we had to speak Russian at home.
Sure.
And I learned it like that. I've never made those objectives with a Thai girl, trying to speak with her in her language about things. And I also have the impression that Thai girls don't really appreciate if you speak the language. They're quite happy if you don't really understand what they're doing and what they want to do. Yeah?
I ran into the same thing. Right? I was learning too much. Of course, I was married, and my wife at the time stopped it because she felt like I could understand too much. So, yeah.
Which was different. The only thing we stopped with my Russian wife was I never taught her any swear words in English or German.
Right.
And she didn't teach me one in Russian. Yeah, I'm fluent in Russian, but I couldn't call you anything worse than, probably my worst word would be idiot, durak.
Right.
And above that, there is nothing, which had the beauty if she was upset and I was upset and I gave her some animal names in German language. She didn't understand it and I didn't understand her, which brought the beauty of a fight never escalating verbally.
Yeah, that's great. Dog or cat?
Actually, I love both. Like at this point of time, I would rather say cat, because you and I have a neighbor here just below us who has 2 dogs, and they have a tendency to bark all night. Yeah? I'm a dog lover and I'm a cat lover. Yeah, I love both. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. I have my lovely 2 dogs anyhow, who I can see.
Every time I hear these dogs out here, I think of you.
Yeah, and the difference is like all day I have all my balcony completely open. Yeah, I never use AC during daytime, which is a probably good recommendation to stay healthy, because the going in and out from AC into the hot weather and back into AC is a guaranteed way of catching a cold. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Do you think you need a car or a motorbike while living here full time?
The answer is yes. You definitely need a motorbike. Despite you could theoretically all the time take a taxi, but for me it's short things to go to the tennis court. Yeah, it's convenient to have a motorbike. I have had a motorbike since I came here, and I've been riding for 11 years now. Fortunately, without any accident. I need to knock wood, so it's definitely a bit more dangerous. On the other hand, I bought a car. That was the time when my family came over, and my 90-year-old mom wasn't really happy to sit on a motorbike. Sure. And I have had a car for almost 5 years now, and the mileage is 4,000 kilometers on it. And that shows you how much do I appreciate my car versus my motorbike, where I've got 60,000. Yeah, I only go with motorbike. It's so convenient here. I don't really like to travel like you do in my car to all kinds of different places in Thailand. I've seen it all. I like it all. But I'm currently more into staying here and doing short routes with my motorbike. Yeah. But it definitely helps. Can you live without it? Yeah, sure. You can, yeah.
Absolutely. All right. What do you think about medical insurance? Do you have any recommendations, or do people need medical insurance if they live here?
That's probably the most important question, because I have so many friends who come here, and I've heard of so many people who came here happy of how far they can go with their money. Sure. People who were not as wealthy as some other friends, and they deeply enjoyed life. And that is when probably the one thing that, except living with a Thai who might take everything you have, the thing that makes you wake up from your dream is medical issues. People don't think that they are getting older, and that at one point of time you will need a medical coverage. When you have an accident, or when you have something where you end up in hospital, I think that makes you wake up from your dream, and in many cases ends the dream, because people can't pay their bill and they will be sent home with no way of coming back to Thailand. And if anybody wants to come here, should be and live here for a longer period of time, should be sensible enough to think about medical insurance. Sure. The younger you get, the more affordable it is. The older we get, the more expensive it becomes, which is a normal thing, that the older you get, the more you will need it. I personally have one which only covers inpatient, which means if I have to stay in hospital overnight, then the insurance pays for it, which is what you really need. Like if you have a severe medical issue and you get into ICU, it might cost you something like $30,000 for one night. Yeah, then it becomes really expensive. If you go as an outpatient, like I just went to a dermatologist to check my skin, because I play a lot of tennis in the sun, and I was there for 25 minutes, and he checked me with his magnifying glass everywhere. And at the end, I asked him for the bill, and he said, pay outside. And I had to pay 100 baht, which is less than $3. Yeah. I mean, if I go to a doctor in Austria for $3, he wouldn't even take my coat. Yeah. Right. So you can get some good value things. They have fabulous hospitals with great equipment, so medical coverage is very good. But if you get really good ones, like you go to one of those very, very exclusive hospitals where you get a beautiful suite, it costs money, yeah?
Right. Yeah.
And I don't want to end up in a government hospital, yeah?
Exactly. Exactly. All right. See here, BMW or Mercedes?
Oh, BMW, definitely, because I always had one, yeah? I like more Mercedes because at this point of time, because they're in Formula One, yeah, and that shows you how good marketing works. But for all my life, I've always loved BMW.
Subscribers and viewers ask all the time, how do you transfer money from your home country to Thailand? Do you have any suggestions or wisdom to share?
Yeah, I wouldn't know because I have never transferred money from my home country to Thailand. I always do it the other way around. I transfer it from some of the places in the world where I have my money back home, yeah, because my money is definitely not in my home country because they are easy to tax me on wealth. The beautiful thing about living in Thailand is I'm still not officially retired in Austria. I will get my retirement, my pension at the age of 65, which is in 2 years from now.
Right.
Then I will be able to answer your question, how to transfer the money. But actually, it's quite straightforward because I transfer from other countries like the US or mainly from Singapore into Thailand. And it's just going to my bank app and say transfer 10,000 US
So you
dollars
just use a wire service.
into my Thai Baht account.
Okay, I assume you're here on a retirement visa?
Yes, like if you're above 50 years, that's the thing to do. Easy, straightforward,
Right.
no hassle.
Do you use an agent or do you
No,
do it yourself?
I do it myself. It's so easy, so straightforward. And I also have all the forms for doing anything in Thailand. Like, for example, if you have a retirement visa and you leave the country, you need to get an exit approval, which costs 1,000 baht, or you do it a multiple re-entry. I have all those things on my computer. I just print it, just check the date, and besides the date of birth, they say age. Yeah? So I have to add one number every year from 62 to 63. Yeah? And I just print it. I also print my pictures myself because for virtually everything they want a picture of you. So while my bank keeps copy of my passport, those people keep pictures of me. Yeah? So there's a separate building with pictures of myself. And then I go there, do it, and it's just like that. It's one of the reasons I love to live here. I remember how difficult it was in Dubai, yeah, doing a hospital test, blood test because of HIV and all those things which they requested. Here it's easier. Despite that, they also exclude 3 diseases.
What's that?
It's elephantitis, which means that you have the which I think most of the Thai women at this point of time already have, looking in bars. And the other thing is tuberculosis.
Oh, yeah.
And syphilis in the final stage.
How have you adjusted to the climate here in Thailand?
I mean, for me, the adjustment was into moving into cool weather, because I lived in Dubai 10 years before coming to Thailand. But seriously speaking, I love warm weather, and as I mentioned before, I hate it if it's cold. Yeah, if somebody is sensitive to hot weather, I think it's quite difficult living here all year round because it is always hot. Yeah, it is always warm. The advantage is you never need a jumper and you never need long trousers. Yeah, so all you need is a t-shirt and shorties.
That's pretty easy.
I just come back from Austria, and honestly, I suffered much more from the heat in Austria than here, because despite that, you virtually live outside in Thailand and you eat outside, and most of the restaurants are just a place outside, which is probably covered with something if it's raining. But like everywhere you go, there are fans, and you always have the breeze coming from the sea. So I find it much more breezy here than when it's hot in Europe, where the air stands still and nobody has a fan. So for me, it's okay. I like it, and if I have a choice, I would sometimes like to have it a couple of degrees cooler when I play tennis. But overall, if I have the option of playing 350 days a year tennis outside in a beautiful scenery, what can be better than that? Yeah. Whereas
something else about Johannes here. I'm sorry about pointing, but here's a guy that we didn't tell you. I think he mentioned his age, but for his age, he's internationally ranked as a tennis player, right?
Yeah, we've got a couple of people here who play the ITF tournaments. ITF is the International Tennis Federation, which has juniors, the professionals, which is ATP, and seniors. Then always in age brackets of 5. It's a lot of fun to measure yourself internationally and get some ITF points and get a worldwide ranking. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So if you knew of somebody, a friend of yours, or you were asked for advice about possibly moving to Thailand, would you give any advice of preparation for somebody looking at coming here?
Actually, I don't think you need a lot of preparation. You need a ticket.
Right.
You need an empty suitcase, more or less, because you need nothing here. Yeah. And everything you can buy here at very good prices. So what do you need to take? Nothing. Yeah. Make sure that you have a medical coverage, as I mentioned before. And it also helps to have a well-filled bank account coming here. Because if you come for the first time, you will probably do something we do less as we are living here, which means party every day. Yeah. And it also costs money to do it. Yeah. Despite that it's...
So moving on to that area there, do you have any suggestions as far as cost of living or budgeting here? Do you need to stay on a strict budget, or what is it?
I mean, I'm lucky. I don't have to care about money, and I know that one thing I will never be able to spend what I have, especially as I don't need a Ferrari in my life. I don't need to have Hugo Boss suits and the most expensive mobile phone. I'm quite humble on that, but I think it's difficult to give somebody an advice on budget, because it all depends. Probably the most expensive cost factor if you come here will be how much money do you spend on boozing in bars and buying drinks for girls and taking them home with you and being over generous. And so I think it's very difficult, because it all depends on the lifestyle. Yeah. If you like to live like you do, with looking outside of your window and having the sea in front of you, it's becoming a bit more costly, or actually not a bit, it's becoming much more costly than living somewhere where you look outside and look on a firewall. Yeah.
Like living on the dark side, for instance.
Or living on the dark side far away, then you have the problem of huge transportation costs to come every day here. Yeah. And then you will do it with your own motorbike, and then police will catch you, and then you're in trouble. And that's probably the thing to get in trouble, is drinking and driving here. Yeah.
And that's important there. I mean, you need to take advantage of, if you're out drinking and driving, take advantage of the
cheap taxis. Yeah.
Cheap taxis, Bolt, motorbike taxis. Yeah. Don't get caught drinking.
Or Songtels, yeah. I mean, because a Songtel is a public taxi, like those little guys. Yeah. You jump in and out on some preset routes, and you pay 25 cents for a ride, which is nothing, and you can get all through Pattaya with it. Yeah, and
Exactly.
so don't let police cut you, because that can be nasty.
Costly.
It can be not only costly, it will be costly.
Right.
So costly for sure. Yeah.
Sure. All right. Beer or wine?
Beer, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I love wine. Yeah, but as I'm after playing tennis quite thirsty, I could use to drinking more beer.
Friends.
And
is it easy to make friends here?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, Pattaya is a place which is like every place in the world, full of different people. But Pattaya is too much more extreme than other places.
Right.
So you have a bunch of the worst idiots in the world here. Yeah? Like if you go around, those are the people which are probably responsible for the image of where I'm living. Like I honestly, if somebody asks me back home and I hardly know him, where do you live? I say in Chonburi.
Right.
Where is that? Banglamung. Oh, where is that? Directly at the sea southeast of Bangkok. Yeah, because if you tell somebody in Europe, I live in Pattaya, they look at you and said, why do you live in a brothel? Why do you live in a whorehouse? Yeah. So I had many friends. Yeah, many friends. Like even my brother, before he came here, he refused to come here. The first time I had to go to the north, and we went Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, because he and his wife refused to come to the whorehouse of Pattaya. Now, meanwhile, he's got an apartment here because he loves it so much to be here. My 90-year-old mama, she doesn't come here because it's such a great whorehouse. She loves it because it's a great place to live. Yeah, you do have great nightlife, and I do appreciate it. Yeah, but
so the nightlife here, even though it's in your face,
it's not even. Sorry, I have to just say one thing. It's not even in your face where we live here, because here, like where I stay and where you stay, you walk around here, you will not find anything, not any bar. Yeah, you have to go to the main road up, and it's about like 2 kilometers away. Here is a purely residential, clean area. Yeah, where my mom feels comfortable, despite that. Like my mom and the mom of my brother's wife, their favorite bar is the Ladyboy Bar. They want to go to Ladyboy Bar. Yeah, they just love it. Yeah.
And getting on that, how about companionship? Is finding a partner here, or
I mean,
is that easy, or is that a gamble? What is it?
I wouldn't even say it's a gamble. I would call it a wonder if you find a partner here. Yeah? I mean, you will easily have somebody who you can have fun with, a Thai girl to stay with, have a great time, and but to find a partner for life here amongst Thai people, I honestly gave up. Yeah, and I gave up the hope that I will ever do it, because I love the Thai girls, yeah, and girls is girls and ladyboys, yeah, because there is one group, and they are lovely, yeah, and they are lovely to be with, but it's lovely that you have an entrance door, which is also an exit door, where you say, thank you very much, and see you next time. I'm honestly happy when they go, because if they stay with you, their interest level, education level, their way of living, it's so completely different. It's having a discussion with them on anything, like on politics, they know nothing, yeah? Never hear news, never read anything, know nothing about the history of their country.
Do you cook in, or do you eat out?
I do both, actually, and more I love cooking myself. I like it, despite that there is no need for it, because first of all, you lovely restaurants around and a choice of more than 1,000. secondly, the option of ordering it on the internet and having somebody bring it to your home at no cost, yeah?
Right.
And I have to admit, when I cook at home, it is much, much more expensive than eating out, yeah?
Absolutely. You enjoy Thai cuisine?
Oh, I love it. I mean, it's great. And it's probably the best food, yeah? If you ask me, which foods do you like? Italian, because I could live on spaghetti, and the other one would be Thai.
Spicy?
Oh, as spicy as it can get. Yeah? Give me a Thai papaya salad, and I will be able to eat it. Yeah, so I always liked spicy.
You recommend any restaurants?
I mean, you've got everything here, yeah, and it's so different. Me being Austrian, I have 3 Austrian restaurants. Is it what you were searching for? Probably not, yeah, because at one point of time, everybody wants to eat what you were used to eat back at home, yeah. If you're here for 3 months, you can do without a Wiener Schnitzel, without an Escalope Viennoise. Right. If you stay here for a year, sometimes you just crave for a roast sausage.
With Wiener Schnitzel? I mean, why is that so popular?
I couldn't tell you why is a hamburger so popular in the US. I don't know. Yeah, it's just popular because it's popular and everybody eats it, and you get some fabulous Wiener Schnitzel here.
Vegemite or butter?
Butter. Sorry, what was that?
Vegemite or butter?
What's Vegemite?
All right. So
that's margarine, or what?
Yeah, it's a spread that's made out of vegetables. That's kind of a.
Oh yeah, so it's a margarine, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely butter, yeah. I tried some of those vegetable things before. I'm not a vegetarian, despite that I keep my meat consumption quite limited, but I love real butter, and I also look that I don't buy the butter mix. Right. If it's butter, it needs to be butter. 100%.
Do you have any hobbies?
Oh yeah, it's sports. Definitely. Yeah. Sports and reading, yeah.
Reading, okay.
And if I call it reading, it becomes more and more for me listening, because I changed from hard books, where I always needed suitcases to bring back to Dubai with books, to ebooks, where meanwhile I have 15,000 ebooks in my ebook library and hardly any more paper books. But now more and more I just enjoy listening to a book, because whatever you do, wherever you go, even I cook, when I clean my room, I always listen to a book.
Okay. That's fair. How about going out to your nightlife? Do you go out to the bars and music venues, things like that much?
Not to music venues, because I don't thoroughly enjoy the Thai music they're doing. I find that if Thai people performing, it sounds so weird to me. Yeah, like they all can't sing, contrary to people from the Philippines. Of course, I love to go out to bars from time to time, and but it's definitely not as much as if you come here on a 2 weeks vacation where you think every night I have to go out.
Yeah, same for me.
And I like to enjoy being at home, because the great thing, meanwhile, is any TV channel I want to watch from back home, I have it. You can get whatever. Living outside is so different. I remember when I came here in 91, I had to line up for half an hour to make a phone call back home after 10 days, just to realize that Austria is still there. If there was a bomb coming and all of Europe would have been gone, I wouldn't know it, yeah? And now, first thing in the morning, you read your Austrian newspaper. I watch Austrian news every day, yeah? It's like being at home, yeah? A football match, and I can watch back 2 weeks, which is a good thing because of the time change. If a football match starts back home in Europe at at 9 o'clock, it's 2 o'clock at night here.
So if there was anything that you could change about living here in Pattaya, Thailand, and you had the power to change that, can you think of anything?
Maybe sometimes a little bit the cleanliness of things like beach and especially the water in Pattaya. I think they should care a little bit more about the environment. Yeah, like
one of the best decisions you ever made in life.
What was one of the best decisions? Probably after finishing all my licenses, not to become a pilot. Yeah, because that was always my dream. But when I did it, and when I started to fly, I found it so highly repetitive, and I was always grateful later on that I could move on a job which gave me so many different tasks and so many different opportunities in my life. That was definitely a good one, yeah. And I've always craved for living in other places too. I was always curious to see them, and I'm so happy that I always did it, because it takes a bit of guts to leave home.
Sure. Oh, that's a big step.
And everywhere I went to, and I went to some places which nobody would probably go to, like when I finished school and did my national duty, I went to Sheffield, which was a purely industrial city in the north of England, a place nobody would ever go to, yeah, because no tourist would ever go there. And I went there, and I had such a fabulous time. Yeah, it was, wherever you go, it's so amazing. The experience is amazing.
How many different countries have you been to? Or
no, I mean, I only, if it comes to living, it was only 5. Yeah.
Right. But you traveled extensively?
I mean, in my last job, I was responsible for 8 companies and more than 40 countries between Morocco and Pakistan and everything. And I virtually lived in an airplane. I did 3 times more airplane miles than my sister, who is a chief stewardess in a long-haul airline. Yeah.
Wow.
So I've been everywhere, yeah? And I've been to countries few people ever went into, yeah, like who went to Yemen, yeah, and I wouldn't recommend you to go there now, yeah, and nobody recommended me to go when I went, but I saw some places, and some were absolutely fabulous, like one of my favorites, Ethiopia, but it's also tricky to go there now, yeah.
Okay. About meat or tofu?
Oh, meat, yeah. I think it's like drinking alcohol-free beer, yeah.
Okay. What makes you happy?
I can't tell, because it's different things that make me happy. I'm generally a happy person, yeah. And I couldn't say what makes me happy, because it's sometimes little things, yeah, and sometimes big things, yeah. But I think happiness comes from inside. If you like what you're doing, if you're happy with your life, if you don't have big things to worry, it's a little thing that makes me happy. I'm happy when I see you, yeah. I'm happy when I meet a friend, yeah. So I'm generally happy.
What do you have anything to add to this interview, this conversation? Anything extra you want to point out or say?
I guess the most important thing is here that you find some things that do, yeah. I mean, you see a lot of people here who sit in the bars already at 12 o'clock every day, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Don't want to do that.
Just look into their beer bottles and complain how much better life was a couple of years ago, yeah.
to do things.
all my friends, like you and all my other friends, they are always from the group of people who find things to do and keep them busy and gives them a meaning of life. I'm glad you picked up golf. For me, it's tennis. I love ping pong. I love doing social things. Like I have a water park here, which I built together with a Russian guy. It's the biggest in Thailand and the biggest in Southeast Asia,
Right.
and one of the best in the world. And I regularly take the blind children there. Yeah,
Right.
it's. I think it is
Now,
something
what's the name of that water park?
It's called Ramayana. It's one of the top 10 water parks in the world, which is quite an
So
achievement.
I'll
If
put
you
that
think.
in the description below, a link to that, or the location anyway. And if they have a website, I'll.
Of course they have. Yeah. I mean, it's a fabulous water park, and look into it because
Right.
you will not find it's also the best water park in Asia. It's the number one because when my Russian friend came here a couple of years ago, there wasn't a water park in Pattaya, and he always traveled with his children, and wherever he went, the first thing was to go take the children to a water park in warm countries because he's from Siberia. So he built this, and I joined him later on, and we have just around the corner from here a school with blind children, and when I was in the US, I realized that one of the water parks in Orlando, he had so many slides which were blinded out.
Wow.
Purposely to not let you see as you go down because you don't need to see, and that increases the thrill, yeah, and
Right.
your joy.
Sure.
And then I realized, because I always went to this school and I bought lunch for them, and you buy it. It's not really expensive. It's something like for $20 US, you can buy all the children food, and they will bring you a song as their way of saying thank you to you. And then I realized, like, why do I always give them food? I have a water park. Let me take them. Yeah. And I took them the first day was we went to the kids area and started. Oh, meanwhile, they do any slides. The one I don't want to do because I find them so thrilling. They do it, and like the reward is so touching to see their faces,
Fantastic.
to see how they react. That makes me happy, by the way. Yeah.
I love community service and things like that. So that brings joy to my heart. So yeah, that's fantastic. Lobster or crayfish?
Lobster.
All right. I want to thank you for agreeing to do this interview. Yeah, that's it.
It was a pleasure. Thanks, Tom. Yeah.
Absolutely.
See you soon.